Live from downtown Detroit, home of WDIV and Click on Detroit, Local 4 News at 11 starts now.
With thousands of children set to go back to school tomorrow, parents voicing concerns about safety protocols in the classroom.
She was a star athlete at both Lake Orion High and Michigan State University. Tonight, both communities are mourning her tragic death.
We begin, though, with the last U.S. troops leaving Afghanistan, ending the war there after 20 years. The final U.S. Air Force evacuation flight left Kabul late today, wrapping up a frantic and dangerous operation to get Americans, Afghans, and others out of the country.
Take a look here. This is the image just released of the last soldier to leave Afghanistan. Major General Chris Donahue boarded the final military C-17 cargo plane out of the country. Alice Barr is in Washington, where the Secretary of State spoke late tonight.
Tonight, America's longest war is over. Secretary of State Antony Blinken pledging a new chapter of engagement.
The military mission is over. A new diplomatic mission has begun.
The final U.S. military flights taking off just before midnight in Kabul, ending a chaotic scramble to get Americans and allies out of the country as Taliban militants swept back into power. More than 123,000 people were evacuated, including roughly 6,000 Americans. But a hard truth remains.
Look, there's a lot of heartbreak associated with this departure. We did not get everybody out that we wanted to get out.
The State Department estimates there are fewer than 200 Americans who may still want to leave, as well as thousands of Afghans who served alongside U.S. forces.
We will continue our relentless efforts to help Americans, foreign nationals, and Afghans leave Afghanistan.
In a statement tonight, President Biden vowing to hold the Taliban to its commitment to provide safe passage. The president addressing the nation tomorrow to mark the end of the 20-year war that cost more than 2,400 American lives, including 13 service members killed in a terror attack last week. A devastating final blow, leaving the U.S. in mourning as Afghanistan faces an uncertain future once again under Taliban control.
Alice Barr, Local 4. And President Biden will be addressing the nation tomorrow at 1:30. You can watch the address right here on Local 4 and on clickondetroit.com.
Two communities in mourning tonight after the captain of the Michigan State University's rowing team is killed on her way to campus in a collision with a box truck. 20-year-old Olivia Long was also a volleyball star at Lake Orion High School. Our Mara McDonald live in Orion Township tonight. Mara, two schools reeling from what's happened here.
Jace, Olivia Long was an absolute star athlete and student both at MSU and here at Lake Orion High School. And if you talk to her coach here at Lake Orion, he'll tell you Olivia was the kind of kid every coach really hopes to have on their team. Olivia Long was voted captain of MSU's rowing team before she was a senior. That's how strong of a leader she was. MSU's athletic director Bill Beekman saying Olivia loved being a Spartan and as a leader developed incredible connections with so many teammates. To lose her so soon seems especially cruel. That Olivia was a standout at MSU is no surprise to her high school volleyball coach, Tony Scarvata.
Olivia was a great person before and the moment I met her. And she was just one of those kids that just a coach wants to have on his team.
Here at Lake Orion High, Long was a star in an elite program. Coach Scarvata says she could have easily played college volleyball, but opted instead for rowing. News that Olivia was killed when her car hit a box truck on I-96 in Clinton County heading to East Lansing is a shock to the system for her teammates at MSU and her teammates and coach at LOHS.
When I first found out about it, I couldn't really say anything. I just was in shock for probably a good minute before I could even respond to it, because you just never think that something like that's going to happen.
Back here live, Olivia's funeral is scheduled for this Saturday in Lake Orion, but Coach Scarvata says he doesn't think that many of her friends and teammates are going to be able to make it in time, so he is hopeful that there could be some sort of an event or memorial for her when more of her friends and students are home around Thanksgiving break. We're live in Orion Township tonight. I'm Mara McDonald, Local 4.
So tragic. All right, Mara, thanks. Tomorrow marks the return to school for thousands of children in Macomb County.
Yeah, and unlike Oakland and Wayne counties, there is no county-wide mask mandate, and most districts have decided to make masks optional. Priya Mann is live in Sterling Heights. Priya, this is an issue that has divided parents pretty much all summer.
Yeah, that's right, Kim and Jason. And tomorrow is day one of a school year unlike any other at schools across Macomb County, including this elementary school in Sterling Heights. You know, parents who have lost a loved one to COVID or whose children have compromised immune systems are extremely worried about what this new school year will bring.
On a night that should be really exciting, the day before the first day of school, we're absolutely terrified.
Emily Sager's 5-year-old son Joshua has multiple conditions, including cerebral palsy and epilepsy.
I feel like we're sending our kids into a place with a high chance of them coming back sick.
Her neighbor, Elizabetta Stupero's kids, are heading into 1st and 2nd grade. They lost their grandfather to COVID in March.
He was on a ventilator for a week and then he passed away. So my kids kind of look at COVID a little bit maybe scarier than some kids because they don't want to bring it home to their other grandparents.
Both families are in Utica Community Schools, the second largest district in the state. Last week during a school board meeting, Elizabetta's mom spoke in favor of a mask mandate.
I'm pleading with you to listen to facts.
Other parents were opposed.
I strongly encourage you to leave it to the parents.
Unlike other school districts in neighboring Wayne and Oakland counties, Macomb County has not issued a mask mandate for students. Here's what Macomb County Executive Mark Hackle said on Flashpoint Sunday.
Of the 21 districts here in Macomb County, every one of them has a mask policy or a mask plan in place. They didn't ask me to make any decision for them.
What exactly is doing our part if we're doing nothing? The children cannot be vaccinated yet. Elementary age children cannot be vaccinated.
If he's worried about being reelected, I'm worried about my son living or dying. If there is even a 0.5% chance that putting a piece of fabric over your face could save my son's life or the life of another at-risk child, why wouldn't you do that?
And last week, Utica Community Schools sent a letter home to parents telling them they acknowledge that there are strong opinions on the pandemic, but urging parents to work together. What that will look like remains to be seen. In Sterling Heights tonight, I'm Priya Mann, Local 4.
Yeah. All right, Priya. Tonight, the government is investigating states trying to stop mask mandates in schools.
The Education Department has opened civil rights investigations into 5 states, including Iowa and Tennessee. The government saying banning or limiting masks in schools could make school unsafe for students with disabilities or health conditions. Meanwhile, the European Union has recommended its countries make unvaccinated American visitors quarantine and test for the virus. And Michigan reports 5,020 new cases and 26 deaths over the past 3 days. It's an average of 1,673 cases per day.
The 5th most powerful hurricane ever to hit the United States is proving to be as destructive. Ida has left 1 million homes and businesses in Louisiana without power now, and countless people in need of help. Crews are searching for anyone who might still be trapped, and if they are, calling for help is tough because cell service is mostly out. Crews have rescued hundreds of people who were already overcome by floodwaters.
Then it just progressively got worse till it was ankles, knees, almost chest level. So we just put the dogs on the counters and then we climbed into the attic.
I think the damage is catastrophic. It's the worst that I've seen in the 20 years that I've been in the parish, and we've seen several hurricanes.
Local power company officials say the damage is so bad it could be weeks before repairs are made to get the power back on.
Detroit police have arrested a suspect in the shooting of a 2-year-old little girl. That shooting happened Friday on Littlefield near Finkel and Schaefer. Police say the girl was shot in the arm and is expected to be okay. A man in his 30s was also shot. Shooting happened when a group of teenagers were arguing and started shooting with a bullet going into this little girl's home.
State police troopers are investigating after a deadly crash involving 4 semis in Washtenaw County. State police say 1 person was killed and 2 injured. The crash happened on eastbound M14. This is near Maple Road earlier this afternoon. You can see 2 of the trucks rolled onto their sides with debris spilled onto the freeway. We've been waiting on the conditions of the people injured, and more details about how this crash happened. We'll let you know when we have an update.
Michigan Republicans announced a new petition campaign to change state election laws.
The group Secure My Vote is proposing a strict photo ID requirement to vote. Under their proposal, voters would need to show their photo ID while voting in person or submit their driver's license number, state ID number, or their last 4 digits of their Social Security number while voting absentee. The petition would also bar the Secretary of State and clerks from mailing unsolicited applications so you can request absentee ballots.
Still ahead, an Uber driver is attacked by one of his passengers.
What the passenger kept demanding right before this violence. And here's Andrew.
Well, we're looking at pleasant conditions for this evening and overnight tonight. Temperature of 73 and the heat index of 73. It's very rare, or at least in the past couple of weeks, we've seen them actually equal. And we're looking at dew points that are in the 50s and 60s. Nice and comfortable for now, but for how long? Your full week's forecast and what's up with Ida and a new tropical system coming up.
But first, he was a trustee at an elite country club in Oakland County. Now he could spend up to 20 years in prison. That's next.